Welcome back. It is always a good day when I wake up, I give thanks, and I'm privileged to step out in my little studio in San Diego. And I know today is a day that I'm going to record and I'm going to do the next room for you. But beside that, I get to introduce you to intriguing human beings on the planet that are really here serving their sole purpose. They're here for their higher purpose. They are here to help you elevate and help you understand how might you find something that you're super passionate about and that you can kind of get busy living. So I'm super excited. I'll introduce Harmony in just a moment. I just want to thank everyone. The only way that a podcast can grow and does grow is through downloads, listens, shares, 5-star review if you're so inclined. Right now, we're up to 17 countries, I believe. We just had some downloads from the Netherlands, which I thought was really interesting. Singapore has come through as a huge market. I don't know why, but thank you. Singapore is a fascinating city. I was privileged to travel there once. Canada, love you guys. Boy, you're right in there, right behind the United States. And then Australia comes in behind Canada. And then, of course, I've got Mexico, and I love seeing Italy chime in with downloads. And of course, London has been very supportive. Paris has been very supportive. I even had 5 downloads from South Africa. Don't know why, but I'll take it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. The next room, where death is dinner conversation, but we go deeper. We go deeper because to really embrace death, you are really embracing life. So my guest today is a dear friend of mine. I met Harmony years ago when we were so fortunate to work with a women's foundation that was allowed to travel to Armenia. And so Harmony and I quickly bonded in Armenia. A year or two later, she got a hold of me and said, "Hey, I'm executive director for this nonprofit. We're going to the Dominican Republic." So off I go to the Dominican Republic. And now, as I told you last week, this manifestation thing happens as I'm talking to Sandra Champlain. And she said, "Jane, tell me about your mission work." And I lit up, and halfway through, I started welling up. And at the end, I said, "I'm ready. I'll go anywhere, anytime." And then randomly, Harmony Brown from Africa New Day shoots me a text. Harmony, welcome to the next room.
Jane, thank you. Love you so much. So excited to be here and having this conversation, and are so excited about our work together and everything that's come in. It's just amazing. So thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here. Harmony, let's peel back some layers. First, let's just start with Africa New Day, and let's educate my listeners about what this nonprofit, how it came to be, and then we'll get into the work that it is doing, and then we'll move on to what you and I will be doing, and we'll take it from there.
Great. Yes. Okay. So Africa New Day, it's about 17 years old. So it's been around for a little while. It was informal even before that. The 2 founders, Esther and Camille Ntoto, actually grew up in Congo. They were between Congo and Belgium. So that was kind of their childhood, teenage years. Then they decided they were going to head to the United States to get their degrees. In the meantime, they became U.S. citizens. They got their degrees. Everything was looking good. And then they started hearing about this genocide that was happening in Rwanda. Right. And if we know about what happened there and the millions of people that were killed, Rwanda shares a border with Congo and the eastern part of Congo. And so that genocide and that war and the fighting really spilled over into eastern Congo. And so millions of lives were lost. And so they started hearing about it. And even though neither of them had been to that part of their country, they had just felt, we've got to do something. We've got to do something. So soon after that, someone calls them and says, "We have an organization in, the DRC, and we want you guys to consider going back and helping us expand in the eastern part of the country, the part that's needed the most right now." So they took some time to sit on it, and they just felt like it was confirmed that they were supposed to go back. And so they gave up everything they had in the States, really years of living here to go back to a place they had never actually been that was so hard, right? And talk about, trauma and grief. You have every person in these communities has lost someone, at least one person. And so they just decided we're going back and we're going to go to this place that so many would write off and so many would say are too hard, or it's too dark, or it's too intense. And they said yes. And the first thing they did was, as the genocide was really fueled through the radio, the hate for the genocide was fueled through the radio. They said, well, if you can see that happen in a negative way, why don't we use the radio to promote good and promote hope and to promote love and unity and care and compassion? And so that's what they did. They moved back and they started a radio station that now is still going to this day, reaching hundreds and thousands of people across the country and other countries. But that's what it was. We've got to bring hope. And from there, Esther, who is, the one of the founders, she got there, she went into a hospital and, I want to meet the people in this community. I want to be where there's a need. And the hospital was full of women and children, and every single one of them had suffered sexual violence.
Oh, Harmony.
But yeah, at this point in history, the DRC was known as the sexual violence capital of the world.
Right.
And so there was very few people who got to adulthood without being, abused in some way, right? So she got in, she was meeting these women, sitting with them, meeting these children, and just weeping. And she said, what are we going to do? We have to do something. We have to do something to help them. And so out of that, Women of the Congo was born, which is a program that is supporting women through those hard things, trauma, through abuse, but really giving them their power back and showing them that they can be more than what that violation was, more than what the abuse was, more than what they suffered. And so they have then built this incredible program that not only empowers women and gives them hope and healing, but that moves into a program of microfinance and loans to then also give them hope to support themselves and their family. And that actually happens across the whole organization. We do it with a lot of different people, because out of Women of the Congo, then Sons of the Congo was born, which was a positive masculinity training for men.
Excellent.
Right. And so, because when all you know is violence, and all you know is that this is how you treat women, and this is how you live as a man, you have to be retrained, right? You have to be given other options. You have to be given hope. You have to be shown that there's more than that. And so out of that was Sons of Congo, because they have to work together, right? And the same thing. Hey, now you can support yourself. We're going to give you, an opportunity to do that as they go through the program. So it's expanded, exponentially. So those are just two of our co-programs. Sorry, I can talk. And then there's a Generation Hope, which is just going to that next level. And then also a school that was started. So again, it was like, hey, if we are actually going to change the mindset from this violent kind of way that women have, the culture women are living in, we can change that. Then it's like you get the women, you get the men, you get the youth, and then you get that next generation. You get those kids growing up realizing that they don't have to live that way, that there's other ways to live, and there's other ways to interact with one another. And it's amazing. So the school was started 7 years ago with just around 30 children. It is now over 1,400 children all the way through. We'll be into ninth grade this year. And it is completely self-sufficient, which is what I love, right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, yeah. So do that. And then we have the business microfinance arm. So there's a lot going on. And I love it, because technically I'm working for the Congolese team, right? Everybody stateside works for them. There's not a hierarchy in place where somebody here in the US is saying, hey, you have to do A, B, and C, and we're the boss.
Right.
Hey, we're here to support what you're already doing. How do we
love that?
Get you the funding, get you the right people, get you whatever it is that you need to thrive, to change your country, your community, everything around you. So
I love that. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the microfinance portion of it, because a lot of people don't understand microcredit loans. And I just find it incredibly fascinating because I know the stats are staggering. When you loan a woman money,
Right.
she's gonna pay it back. And so let's just spend a little, kind of outline a little bit about that microfinancing and how that works for education purposes.
Right. Okay. So there's a couple different ways of doing it, and even how we do it, because every situation is slightly different. What we like to do is do funding rounds. So say someone comes to us with an idea. We say, okay, you have this idea. There's coaching and training involved because we really want every single person to succeed. So there's that piece. There's to help them. What's your business plan? How are you going to market? All those pieces are really important. And that can be on a small scale. So someone comes and says, I need $100 and I'm going to do $100. One woman in particular, I actually was just on the phone with her yesterday. She decided, okay, I know there's not enough food around right now. We don't have enough good quality food. I need to start growing food. So she took $100 loan. Actually, this was not even from us. This was from somebody else, I think somebody in her family. And she bought the seeds she needed. She bought a little tiny plot of land and started growing it. And then she was able to make money off of that, right? So now she has 5 plots of land. She is feeding her whole community. She's employing 8 people, right? And even like this last time when we were over there, she said, this is we were all there at the farm because it's like a farm and there's pigs and chickens and rabbits. So she's just, really taking us on. Every time she gets money, she invests it back in. But she said, I'm gonna walk you down the road because one of my workers just had a baby and she's on maternity leave. And so she was able to even offer maternity leave for her, one of her farmers, because there's just this understanding that, you put back into the business and you put back into the community. And that's what we encourage. But that really happens very almost naturally with women because they think, oh, I know I can grow this. And so this woman, I mean, she's a rock star in my mind right now. And so we were just talking yesterday about how do we get you to the next level, right? Like you can build a well. Not only can you then have crops all year long, but you can now have water for the whole community. So not just are you having, eggs and meats and vegetables, right? Fruit, but now you can provide water for your community. So that's that micro loan thing. She started with $100 and is now keeps reinvesting it. So when they, are given, here's your first loan. It's simple, it's easy, and then they pay it back, and then they can apply for $500, right? And then it's that piece of stewardship and really helping them grow and grow really strongly and strategically. So that's a little bit about it. I could talk all day about it. I get really excited about
what's exciting. I mean, it just, the way out of poverty is through education. And if you are willing to invest in someone and then they turn around and they invest in themselves, and now here she's uplifting other people in the community and she's feeding people and she's reinvesting back in. I mean, it's just really beautiful. That is such a success story. Wow. I would love to go to the farm if we.
I'm taking you. I already have it.
Good.
Yes,
it's just,
totally.
Me, like I am like, I got farmer genes. Like you would not believe in this body. I mean, I love the smell of soil. I like digging in the dirt. I plant my own tomatoes. So I'm happy. What's her name?
Her name is Benjamin, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love it. Benjamin.
Yeah.
Benjamin, the gardener or the farmer.
Right.
That's incredible. Great story. So thank you about the microcredit loans. Let's talk about the genocide thing is just, it's hard to wrap your mind around it because it didn't get the press that, that we bury it. The millions of individuals were killed.
Like 6 million.
Yes.
They think are the numbers. There's probably more than that, but that's
right, because it's not reported properly.
Right.
And I love that they started a radio station. What a great, awesome way to reach their people, their community, to be able to spread the good stuff. And, instead of all the propaganda, um, where does the global grief piece fit in this? How do you service an area, the DRC, that has gone through such massive loss? How do we help them in that process of their grieving?
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's a great question, because I think there's so much there. I mean, it's like, I might probably butcher this, but I've been doing some studying and listening to some things about how certain traumas and things are actually passed down in your DNA, right? So if you think there have been generations that have had to walk through trauma, right? Every generation. I mean, just this year, we have over 50,000 displaced people right around where our work is, because in November last year, there was rebel groups coming in and massacres in villages and people fleeing for their lives and having to give everything up. And that is on top of a volcano that erupted 2 years ago, and then flooding actually that just happened, actually after all of this, let alone this huge genocide that happened. And then the offshoots of that has just continued to wreak havoc. 10 years ago was another time where there was this huge uprising of rebel groups and, people fleeing for their lives again, trying to survive. So there's this compounded, not only is it like, grandparent suffered and went through that, and then that kind of trauma can be passed down, and then you have the parents, and then you have the children. So we have generations. There's just a moment where you think about the weight of that, right? And and how I don't know, life altering, I think it is, like, worldview altering, if that's just what you've known for generations and generations. And I think there's a couple things. I think, yes, we can help them, and I think we can get to that, but I also think there's something that we can learn, right? This resiliency and this like perseverance in the face of that kind of opposition,
Right.
over and over and over again for generations.
And they just keep rising up.
Right.
Do you feel hope? Do you feel hope when you're around the Congolese?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Our board chair for the organization, she went back and she did a documentary a few years ago, kind of thinking, I'm going to go and I'm going to document how intense it is there. And she walked away saying, all I could see was hope. Everywhere I looked was hope. And I love that, because that is exactly how you feel. You get there, and I think you can have this expectation of like, well, it's going to be so hard, and it's going to be so intense, and everybody suffered so much, and you walk in and you're just, humbled, I guess is a word of like, I really know nothing.
Wow.
Like, I don't. And all I can do is position myself to learn and to absorb the hope that is just so present in the midst of this incredible opposition. So I think that's kind of that first position of it's a joint communion that we share of learning from one another. So wow, I can partake of what they have weathered and what they have learned, and then hopefully I can come and impart something, right? And with the global grief, I think, I don't know, you're the expert more than I am, but I think grief is grief, right? And so there is this common ground of loss, of confusion, of pain that we all corporately share when we enter into grief, whatever level that is. I haven't suffered genocide, right? I have not been displaced. I've had to run for my life. I haven't lost a family member to violence. So I don't understand that, right?
Right.
But I do understand some level of grief. And so if I can meet at that level, then I think there is this beautiful thing that can happen where we can support one another, and we can move forward together in healing and in hope. So yeah.
Good answer. I think it's key that we don't try to fix what they're going through as far as their pain, but really, listening and asking the right questions. What is it that you need from us, and how can we assist you in this very painful situation that you have gone through generationally?
Right.
Let's talk about how rich the land is, and
Okay.
how what's been happening with, I don't think people quite understand that we keep taking what is theirs, and then they, as in the locals, the people that live there, the Congolese, are not benefiting from this incredibly rich land that they live on.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we could talk about today what's happening, but we could just talk about the, century
Sure.
of exploitation that has happened.
Absolutely.
So for years, we could put some links in the or references in the show notes about it.
We will do that.
The world has used the resources of Congo for generations again. So not only do you have violence and genocide, but you also have this exploitation of resources, right? So you start with ivory, slaves, gold, diamonds, rubber, like it has just been one thing after the other. So this place on the planet, for whatever reason, tends to have the natural resources that the world wants. Right. And then the world will just walk in and take. And this is my my emotional moment coming out of the pain of people feeling. And this is now my anger moment, but
let it rip, Harmony.
Right. But it's for generations, like I said, they have just gone in and just exploited and really raped the land over and over and over again for whatever is needed on a global scale, right? And who's benefited the least from that? The Congolese people, right? Who has been hurt the most by it? The Congolese people, right? And so what is going on is it's just phenomenal to me that this place can have every resource, every 10 years, 20 years, there's something that the world wants, and the Congo has it. It's incredible. I mean, even now we have some of I don't know, we corporately, they're like family, we're in it together, but the Congo has the most minerals that the world is looking for right now, right? I think I was reading, and my numbers could be a little off, but they were saying 70% of cobalt, right, is located in the Congo. Right. That's where they're finding it. They're finding it in a few other places, but right there. And all these other minerals that we need to power our cell phones, to power our electric cars, where everything that we are all completely dependent on. We're dependent on our phones. And you know what? That means we're dependent on Congo, because that's where things that are coming for our phones are from. Yeah.
Man. Okay. So now, what can we do to help?
Yeah.
Talk to me about, magic wand time, Harmony Brown from Africa New Day. What can the Next Room listeners and anyone that happens to stumble across this podcast that's listening and they have a heart for this, what is it that we can do?
I mean, there's a lot of different things to do. Obviously, awareness of what's going on there and promoting that is incredible. I mean, we had, like I said, at the end of the year, there's an entire, crisis happening, and we're getting hardly any news people talking about it, right? But as soon as some of the major stations picked it up, we started seeing some positive implications. But it's when people turn the other way, or it's not as newsworthy as whatever, a court trial, then, it goes unseen, and then nobody knows and nobody does anything about it. So awareness is huge. People knowing about it, posting about it, learning about it, I think is a really big deal. Because when that starts happening, then the conversation becomes more public, and then again, more people know about it. Funding, obviously, that's always a big thing. But like we were talking about with the microfinance, our goal is that you get the help you need to change your situation and then change your community. And then all of a sudden we see a transformation in the country. And I think that's the biggest thing, is there's not been a lot of this, hey, let's get behind you and see what you can do. A lot of time it's a Band-Aid. Here, we'll just take care of this and fix it, or you can't do anything, so then we're just going to do it ourselves. And I think that's the difference that we've seen in the past to now of, hey, you can change this, you can change a situation, and we're just going to help you get that next level, opportunity to do it. We're talking a lot about what does it look like to have a glass factory right now in Eastern Congo, where we are. We have to ship glass in, glass bottles, and then you recycle them over and over and over again, which is great for the environment, of course, but there's nowhere that can make it. So there's this dependency on other places and then shipping it in, and then things are more expensive. So what does it look like to get into the heart of the economy and those needs that are so present? Well, why can't they just do it on the ground instead of having it come in? So, but again, that takes the funding to just get that up and running, right? So, but we have through our entrepreneur program that's just been running for about 4 years, we've provided over 600 jobs.
Wow.
Right. And so it's like, we're seeing this transformation happen of what is that next thing? What is education, right? We want to expand and start a high school in the next 2 years, again, to get children through with a great education, but with also this empowerment mentality of, I am the change. I'm the leader. I'm in charge. It's not on anybody else. It's on me. And that's how we see this, incredible transformation. So that's kind of our focus. All funding, all awareness, everything goes towards empowerment, and then long-term, transformation and sustainability.
Okay.
So.
Do you have where someone can sponsor a child, or is it the funds, funneled into the school directly, or can people, say, hey, I want to sponsor a kid for a year for school, uniforms, whatever they need?
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have a partner, actually, Uniforms for Hope. She's fantastic, and so she actually provides uniforms. She'll raise the funds and then get those to us, because sometimes the kids can't go to school if they don't have the uniform, right? So sure. She's great. We can also give her a shout out in the
absolutely
in the notes there.
Yeah, just send me everything you want to promote. Send me the links and I'll put them on. They'll post them all. They're really great. The network is great, and I'll do it on the YouTube channel. Then people don't have to go Googling, and we'll take care of that. So Uniforms for Hope.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the other, Africa New Day connects with a bunch of other nonprofits. So let's talk about that and how you coordinate to work with all these, like Ben Affleck's, his Eastern Congo initiative.
Yeah. Well, collaboration is a huge part of everything that we do. I'm a pretty big believer on, we're not meant to do things on our own. And, you might go a little bit slower, but you can go further, right? We know this like ancient proverb of, if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. Right. And so there's a lot of different collaborations that are happening. So just real quick, back to the question you asked before, we don't do individual child sponsorships.
Okay.
We do kind of like, hey, you can build a classroom, or you could do, you can buy, the desks for this classroom. So that's kind of part of the
education. I love that, because then a church could come in from the United States and say, we're all about the kids. Let's give you 60 desks, or let's actually build an additional classroom and give you the funds to do so. Right. Which I'm assuming is probably pretty reasonable to build a
It is.
classroom over there.
It totally is. Yes.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay. All right.
so-
Good to
so,
know.
Yeah, but it's just, we just do it a little bit different.
Okay.
Because again, back to that sustainability and empowerment piece,
Sure.
we want these kids to be able to go through school and their parents get the means they need to support them themselves. So we do a sliding scale. There's a lot of different reasons for that. We might move into that as we expand to offer the school for more children. But right now it was very, very much like we want this to become self-sustainable within the community, and not look for the outside support for sustainability. Again, if it's
Okay.
like build a classroom expansion, we need to build a high school in the next, year and a half, 2 years. That's going to be a huge amount of money. But again, you put the money in and then the school is sustainable and it doesn't need anything from outside any longer. So but collaboration, back to that piece of it. We do, yes, we work with a lot of different organizations, again, because we don't need to be recreating the wheel and we don't need to be doing something. Somebody is probably doing something better than we're doing, and we're doing something better than them. So why wouldn't we work together?
Great point.
Yeah. And so one of those partners is Eastern Congo Initiative, and they're doing incredible work all across Eastern Congo. The amount of entrepreneurs and businesses that they are supporting, and we are seeing just phenomenal growth. I mean, incredible. They have partners, with Nespresso and Starbucks for their coffee company, which has just, like, I don't know, but I'm talking thousands of jobs are coming out because they said, yes, we're going to start, we're going to support, we're going to see this thing happen, and it's going to expand, in such incredible ways. So they're one of our partners. Actually, just recently, it was so great. We have multiple businesses. So we start with the microfinance loans, and then they get bigger and they get more profitable and they grow and they're providing jobs. And so when we had this crisis happen where we had thousands and thousands of displaced people, we, with a couple of partners, but one of them being ECI, said, okay, we have to do something. We have all these people on our doorstep that need help. What can we do? So we talked, we brainstormed, we spent time together, and then ECI did a huge grant to 3 of our entrepreneur businesses. Well, they're now solid businesses. And the goal was, we're going to give you a grant to expand your operations, hire more people, but the return is that you give what you're making to the displaced. So we're not just coming in and saying, here, let's just give something to displaced. We're thinking long-term, strategic. What does it look like in the midst of crisis, in the midst of chaos, to still think about the future, right? And the executive director at ECI was a refugee, right? So he understands the implications. He gets it. He's saying there has to be more. There has to be a way to do this differently. And so we were able to work together to alleviate a situation in a way that is still going to be beneficial to the development of the community, of the economy, and of the future. So those 3 organizations are the 3 businesses we were able to help were Ecological Charcoal. So it's charcoal being made out of waste so that trees aren't cut down where people are, right? So we're trying to protect the environment. We're trying to also help them keep warm, cook their food, all of that. And then we were able to have a company that provides clothing. And so we were able to get clothing for the refugee children, and then porridge. So someone who was creating porridge that had a high nutritional value. And so they were able to up their production and then take that production and get it to the people on the ground in need. So.
Boy, I really like what I'm hearing about this organization. I mean, there are so many nonprofits on the planet that you can choose to support. And I think what you said at the very beginning of this interview, you said that you and all the organization, the people here in the States, work for the Congolese.
Yep.
And that really resonated with me. You guys aren't going in there to bust a move and say, hey, we've got all the answers. You're saying, what do you need? and talk to us and tell us, just like the gentleman you were just talking about that was an actual refugee. Of course, he's going to have an absolute front row seat to
Yeah.
what is necessary to move that mission forward. Wow, this is so amazing. I'm really getting excited about going. I want to pack my travel mic, and I'm hoping to interview some people while I'm there, and just observe and do whatever I can, whatever small part I can with this little global show I have to spread the word and awareness. I think that, when I said to you, what do you need? And you came back with awareness before finances, that also tells me where your heart is. You want to spread the word and educate through awareness, which is really, really key. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the awareness and you're not tapped into what it is that we're there to do and help, doesn't matter,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not the way that you want to do things. Anything I haven't touched on? Is there something that you really want to share with the Next Room listeners? And of course, I'll post all the links so they don't have to go searching for them, but it's your show. Is there something you want to share?
I think you said this at the beginning, about how death is like part of life. I don't know exactly how I can't remember exactly how you worded it, but to really live, you've got to understand, like, be okay with death, I guess, right?
Yes.
And so I guess I just want to encourage, everybody out there, like, obviously your show's amazing. You're amazing. I'm sure your listeners are amazing. Because there are people who have a different level of understanding, right, of the big picture of everything, right? And I'm assuming that's your listeners are those types of people.
Mhm.
But I guess I want to just encourage the listeners to live, right? Like, live, take the risks. You're already in that place of embracing life, and understanding it. So I don't know if it's some kind of prophetic piece, but I do feel like there's opportunities that are coming that might feel a little scary or risky, but it's that you're going to live and you won't regret it. So that's more my thought or my encouragement to your listeners. Like, take the step, do the thing, because you're not going to regret it. And it's embracing life in a new way, even more fully than you already are. So.
Beautiful. And I have to tell you just a quick little story. I
Yes.
was having a moment of trepidation about going because there was some unrest back when we were going to go in March. And, and I wasn't really sure. And you
Yeah.
reached out and said, okay, we're going to go in July. And I'm like, I don't know. And you were so lovely. You just said, you know what? Just take time, pray on it. If it's meant to be, great, love to have you, but I totally get it. So I love that because I didn't feel any kind of pressure or anything weird. And so I literally went out in my beautiful little veranda of peace, love, and understanding and prayed out loud and said, okay, if I am supposed to go to the Congo, I would really, really like some signs, just let me know. And I kid you not, within 10 minutes, I got a ping from Lucia, who is a listener up in Ukiah, who, hardcore, loves the book, loves the podcast. And she sent me a message that said, Jane, I had to pick up your book and I was rereading part 3 and I stopped in my tracks when your mother said, expand without fear.
Whoa.
And I got goosebumps, I started getting goosies and everything. And so she said, she had lived a lot of her life in fear and was, and I'm like, okay, if that's not a sign that my mother, her words
Yeah.
are coming back through a listener. And
Incredible.
then about 20 minutes later, my friend Barbara sent me, who studies A Course in Miracles. She's super spiritual. She sent me a great piece out of a book, A Course in Miracles, that was talking about your purpose and how, you're here to live it and find it and be it and don't fear it. And
Right.
I'm laughing out loud. And within seconds, I texted you and I'm like, I am all in.
Right. I was like,
I've
yeah.
got quite a story for you. So
Right.
boy, does that's
Love it.
wild that, we didn't even discuss this
Not at
before
all.
this moment. And
Right.
what a beautiful close. Africa New Day. I am thrilled to be able to join Harmony. We're going at the end of July. They made me a beautiful specific link because I want to post it everywhere and I want people to feel that they're very connected. So family members, friends, churches, organizations I belong with, my wise women, I want them to know exactly what it is that I'm doing and that the money's collected through me, through the link that's posted below,
Mhm.
will go directly to these phenomenal programs that Harmony has been outlining. Who knows? Maybe we're going to help my friend Benjamin, the farmer, buy another
Yes.
pig, or some seeds. Now my mind's just going all kind of wackadoodle. Or maybe I love schools. Maybe we'll put some books in the libraries. Who knows? So
Yes.
if you are compelled and you're listening and you are just like you have a heart for this and you want to throw some money, please do. I welcome it. I would love it if Harmony has to ping me every darn day and say, "Oh my gosh, Jane, your listeners are sending all kinds of money in." So, but no pressure. I don't believe in that. I just really
No,
feel that if
no way.
it
Yeah.
resonates with you and you love what you just got done hearing, then, and you have the means, why not us? Right?
Right. Right.
So, final words, my dear, they are yours. And then I will close out the show.
All right. Well, no, I'm just grateful to be here. Like I said, love you, love working with you. Cannot wait to get on another trip with you, and just see what unfolds. I am always in that place of anticipation and really just gratefulness. So thankful, so thankful to you, to your listeners, to what is happening, with our team. Sometimes I just get to be like, I can't believe I get to do this with my life.
Mm.
It's just an honor. So thank you so much, Jane.
Oh, it's so great. It's an honor to know you. Speaking
Mhm.
of gratitude, the network mindbodyspiritfm.com, the one that we're broadcasting on right now,
Yeah.
we have gotten together with Louis Schwartzenberg, and Gratitude Revealed is his brand new movie. He is the king of the slow motion, where he'll put a camera on a plant and watch it and then speed it up. He does beautiful, beautiful work. And his new movie, Gratitude Revealed, has been playing across the country, but we've got a free screening for you. All you need to do is click the link, give us your email address, and for 3 days, July 14, 15, 16, you'll be able to watch the movie for free. And I'm telling you, you will be brought to tears, good, happy tears, because this entire film is all about giving thanks and how it is so incredibly important to
So it's
embrace
important.
that. It's really beautiful. Gratitude Revealed. So catch the wave with that. You've been listening to The Next Room, where death is dinner conversation. As you can see, we cover a lot more than just death, right? Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. I will be back again next week with another amazing guest. I think I have an author coming on. Actually, I have two authors in a row coming on. One, Heaven on Earth. He's written Heaven on Earth, Scott Heigl, and I think you'll enjoy him very much. So thank you again. We'll talk to you again next week.